Our final coach this morning is the head coach of the Liberty Flames, Coach Turner Gill. Good morning, Coach.
Hey there, Mark. Good morning.
Hope you're doing well. Flames with a tough loss at Gardner-Webb in the league opener, concluding the 4-game road trip this Saturday at Monmouth. If you can open up, talk about the game against Gardner-Webb, then we'll start taking questions and talk about the Hawks.
Great job by Coach McCray and his entire staff, all their players. They played extremely well. They executed. The bottom line is they played better than us. They did a great job coming out right out of the start of the game, and offensively there we couldn't stop them. They got up 14-0, and we narrowed it down a little bit there to 27-10 at halftime there, and then we played better in the second half, but it was too much to try to overcome. Maxwell, quarterback, had an outstanding day, big-time player, just made plays after plays after plays, and they did a great job there offensively, defensively, and their special teams are always pretty sound for us, and I got to give a lot of credit to them, and they are a good football team, and like they've always been, the 3 or 4 years I've been here, that they've always been a challenge for us, and they put it all together in this last ball game, so I think I give them all the credit, that's for sure.
All right, Coach, we'll start taking questions for you. For those who would like to talk to Coach Gill, go ahead and start unmuting your lines, and then we'll begin with questions in a minute. Coach, if you can talk about Monmouth and what you've seen so far of the Hawks this season.
Well, I think Monmouth is a team that's also last year played us pretty well here at our place, and so I know they kind of had some injuries here and there on the defensive side. I think they're getting those guys back this week, and I know they got some very, very talented players on defense there. Their safety there was an all-conference player there at Gill. I know the 2 corners are pretty solid players there, too. They got the linebackers and a couple of D linemen there, so I think if they get all their people back, which they think they may get them all back this week, then they're going to be a very, very tough opponent, and then playing on the road, too. Their offense, I think they've maybe been a little bit inconsistent. They've had some good things that have been occurring, and some things that maybe has not been as sharp as possible. But again, I know they have the talent, they have the people in place. I know they got some people that are inexperienced. So I think the quarterback there is a redshirt freshman, and again has some talent, and I know he's going to be ready to play against us. So we got to play our best football game in order for us to have some success.
All right, Coach, at this time we'll move to the questions for Coach Gill. For those on the call, feel free to unmute your lines and go ahead and ask away.
Turner, Josh Newman from the Asbury Park Press. How are you, sir?
Very good.
Good. You mentioned the game against Monmouth last year down there. It was tied after 3 quarters. Coming away from that game, I mean, people seem to think that the gap between teams like Liberty and Monmouth is wide. The fact that they went down there and played you the way they did, is the gap maybe not as wide between teams like these as some people may have thought?
Well, probably all of us as coaches, we know that every game, everybody's as talented as anybody, and they can be beaten on any given time. And so they do have talent. They do have good players. I know they got a good coaching staff, and so they coach their guys up, and they put it all together in execution of why we're going to have our hands full. There's no question about that. So we feel like we're just as equal to them. They were just as equal to us, and so I think it's going to be a heck of a ball game, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, and Coach, I just have one last question. Derek Peterson on the cusp of becoming the Big South all-time career leader in receiving yards. I think he just needs 65. Just how he's coming back. I know he missed the Southern Illinois game. Just how he's been so far this season, and obviously going on for the rest of the year.
Well, I think he's been solid. I think he kind of started off a little bit slow. He kind of came into the season, preseason stuff, had some injuries, a nagging, nothing too serious, and then unfortunately there in the game there in the Montana and West Virginia kind of got banged up a little bit there, and then had to sit out. And so the first 3 or 4 ball games he was never 100%, and he's just now back to about 100% at this point in time, and so he's coming on pretty strong, and he's going to have to continue to make some big plays for it because he's very, very important in our part of our program.
All right, Coach. Any final questions for Coach Gill? Those on the call, unmute your lines and ask away. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and let you go, Coach, but thanks for joining us, and good luck Saturday at Monmouth.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our call today. My thanks to all the coaches and media for your patience with our service not working properly. We should have our recording as usual available later this afternoon on BigSouthSports.com. Everyone have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to everyone next Tuesday.